Excuse my back over here. I'll try and turn around here on a good bit. But the photographers are over here.
No excuse, Paul.
Hang on. There we go. We have to size it here. First of all, thanks everybody for being here. It's nice to get up in front of people and speak on a happy occasion. Two people I want to introduce you to. Matt here, who's taking the still photographs. A very talented photographer that Matt and Eva did. And Paul Munson in the back on the video camera. All that dancing, they had to keep up with it too. We got to go outside the circle periodically to sit down, but they had to keep up with it all. In the theme of the odd intersections that keep recurring during this wedding, some of you were at our little dinner last night and saw a video that talked about Matt and Eva growing up. And during that video, a middle school-aged Matthew kind of coyly looks at the camera at one point on a back-to-school shopping trip which is being recorded and says, "It's times like this I wish I'd never gone shopping." The photographer he's talking to is Paul Munson, who shot that story. There are actually two funny stories that grow out of that that'll take to the central point of what I'm here to talk about today. First has to do with the reporter whose name is Diane Esterbrook. She now works for the Nightly Business Report. And the idea was to take someone, a middle school-aged boy, back to school shopping. And one of the things they did was they took him in a clothing store. And she thought because he was really excited about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, he would talk about Teenage Mutant Turtles underwear on camera. She was disappointed that he wouldn't say two words about it, and she came back to the television station and she explained that he wouldn't talk about it. And I said, he's middle school, he's a boy. The only person he talks about underwear with is his mother. He's not going to talk about his underwear with you. The second story involves my graduate school class. I showed them the project while it was in development just to kind of get a feedback from them, a reading, although that's sort of a false sense of security since I'm in charge of their grade. Oh yeah, it's great, it's great. But at the end of it, they asked me why Matthew was wearing a wireless mic and asked whether or not my children go around the house with wireless mics on all the time. Yeah, before we make them leave the house, we check to make sure their batteries are charged every morning. All right, this is a build-up to the central part of this talk, which starts with a story that involves my mother, who took my wife aside shortly after we got married to explain to her how to get along with Conti men. My mother being the resident expert on this at this point. And she was offering Jan some advice on our idiosyncrasies. So I did some introspection. I thought that there probably should be a book on this, which Eva possibly should have had a year ago. But here are at least 4 points or 5 points that I want to make today. I think you know this already, but Conti men love toys. There is no intellectual way to characterize this. Whereas Jan, you can talk to her about facets and sparkle and any kind of jewelry. If it's the three guys, we're talking about gigahertz, gigabytes, and oh my God, exobytes. So keep that in mind. Conti men are not always morning people. My father probably was the ace on this. I think he was probably the grumpiest Conti man. But I'm thinking the second grumpiest person is a guy I know that was born in 1982 that's sitting next to a woman in a wedding dress today. You know, when we were first new parents, we did what most new parents do. You consider every choice, like Vicky is doing over here now with Griffin. You want to get that perfect baby monitor. Okay, for me it was clarity of sound, distance of transmission, battery life. Jan wanted to make sure it matched the wallpaper. But we got the baby monitor, and we were really, really happy that we got this baby monitor, and we never, ever, ever had to use it. I don't think we changed the battery, because from the time he was an infant till somewhere after he was 2 years old, the minute he woke up, he wailed. The neighbors could hear him crying. You didn't need a baby monitor at all. He outgrew the crying, I think, right, Eva? He outgrew the crying? He doesn't cry when he gets up first thing in the morning. Conti men do not instantly embrace new ideas. My wife is surprised that I'm saying that. It's not that we don't like new things, it's just that we need a rationale. If you're going to change things, we need to know why. Now, shortly, actually it was last week, Matthew was explaining this to Jonathan. He was trying to convince me of something. He says, just wait, he'll come around, he'll come around, he'll come around. As if this genetic trait had somehow passed over him. Well, Matthew, you may be the Jewish scholar in the family, but the angel of resistance has not passed you over. In summary, so far, if you want to see what a really bad day looks like for a Conti man, wake him up early on his birthday, give him something incredibly sentimental to you, and then tell him you're going to rearrange the furniture in the bedroom for the third time. On the other hand, in that same conversation between my mother and Jan, she said that Conti men really know how to show love, which surprised me. But it's true. At its penultimate moment, it may catch you by surprise, but we really know who our better half is. Sometimes it might seem that a 16 gigabyte thumb drive has far more impression on us than is healthy for normal people. But no matter how many cores the CPU has, we know who is really important to us. So congratulations, mazel tov, happiness always, just not first thing in the morning, please.
And now Hillel Hochstein, the